Hi guys, what's going on? My name's Ryan. I trade ETFs and do my analysis on them in the after hours and bring you these videos. So without further ado, let's get to it. We've got RETL, R-E-T-L, representing retail, and right away we can see here that we've got a pretty nasty downtrend going on here on the daily. Let's zoom into the 2 hour. Still got our view up here. Let's take that off. We've got a Heikin-Ashi setting here and not candlesticks because I find it's easier to follow. So what can we look at right here right away? Well, we can draw this long-term channel. It does not connect perfectly, but it touches these pretty well. Bring this up. I'm not sure how high I want to go exactly. I go all the way. I don't think all the way is appropriate. You want to draw your channel where it touches as many times as possible. So I think this is a pretty decent channel. For the moment, these are just the tops. Otherwise, everything else has fit pretty well. And like I said, we see a pretty solid downtrend right here. Let's go on to the second step. Draw our Fibonacci lines. We can see that it broke below the 70. Let's go ahead and make these a little bit bigger here so we can see what we're talking about. So we broke below the 78.6 retracement, which is pretty vital. And lastly, let's go ahead and draw some pivot points here. See one here. In a longer time, I see next support here and further support right there. So these are going to be where we're going to watch for the coming months. If I were to guess, we're going to land somewhere right around here. We might float down to this, support line and bounce back up. So I won't be making any trades in retail in the coming future. Next up on our list 12 is UWT. This is 3 times leveraged ETF long crude oil. And lately crude oil has been getting smashed. A bunch of hedge funds have been losing a ton of money in UWT trying to trade it, and the market's bottom. I think we can maybe, this is a fairly new ETF. There's not a ton of data, but we can definitely identify a downtrend, but a recent uptrend, very strong one from looks like 1375 up to 19 right now. I've been holding UWT and swinging it. Let's go into the 2 hour, see if we can find anything else in here. Right. So obviously we can start marking some resistance lines, important pivot points right here. So it looks like we recently broke above this previous, this wick right here, and this wick over here. So that's significant. Looks like we struggled there for probably, a few hours, and we finally got back above it. My prediction is we're going to see a straight shot all the way up to about 1985 here, where I see my next, we've got this wick right here marking a high, and this marking a low. I think this is going to be a significant level, and this is also getting towards the top of our channel, and so I'm guessing that UWT's run is going to be fizzling out here pretty soon. We do see a lot of bull volume continuing to cipher into the stock, and the RSI is reaching oversold levels right now, sitting at about 70. When it starts hitting about 70, 78, 80, that's when I like to take the other side of the trade, no matter if the price is still rising up, because the price simply can't stay at those levels forever. And let's see here. We go into the 1 hour, start looking at what this is doing inside here. We see that we had a nice flag right here that originally broke out. I love these. These are really easy to spot if you know what you're looking for, but it's basically an ascending triangle. And oftentimes like this, you can just draw it from the previous trend. And we've got our ascending triangle here, and once we were able to get above that, we just straight shot ran. Not a lot of consolidation around here. Be wary about taking profits at this point if you have been in this trade. 30-minute, 15-minute, And if I were to make a prediction for tomorrow, this looks kind of like a bull flag to me. And given my previous analysis on the 2-hour, 1-hour, I still think that it's going to run to about 1975, 1980 before hitting another major roadblock. Alright, third up on our list is UGAS. It is 3 times ETF long natural gas, and there's not much to see here on the daily, simply because the price changes are so dramatically, in flux here that it distorts the chart. And I find this on a lot of ETFs, and it's kind of unfortunate because it makes it hard to chart. So I'm going to go ahead and try to zoom in here on the 2-hour, and it gives us a much prettier chart to work with. And it's really interesting what's going on here. We can see a lot of bull volume, and what I've been doing is kind of scalping these moves up and down, and I find that natural gas is more easy or simpler to trade than other ETFs that tend to have these kind of choppy zones, such as energy or oil. I have a lot of trouble trading those, but I'm actually in UGAS right now. I'm in the DWT right now. I took a preemptive trade here, just a starter position, because I do expect this to fall once it hits up here, and I will continue to add on to my position until it hits that point. But back to UGAS here. So right now, let's go ahead and draw our channel, and I think I'm going to want to do a more sideways looking channel here, and that looks pretty good. And right now we can see a clearer picture. So let's go ahead and just zoom into the 1-hour, and what do we see here? We see our first green Heikin-Ashi bar. Now UGAS was down 8%. I think it was down something like 10% today at some point, and that's pretty nuts for UGAS. Usually it's a 4% move either way. But when we have a sideways market like this, it's pretty easy to go ahead and do some Fibonacci waves on this. So you can see that one worked out. That's a bit of a higher time frame. It's going back to its previous swing, and now let's go up to its current swing and see what we find here. I'm looking for some confluence, and where do I see confluence? I see it right here. I see it right here. And I guess that's pretty much it. Everything else is slightly too far off for me to call out any confluence. So we're going to go ahead and delete these Fibonacci lines and see if they hold up across a time frame, and they do. Bottom, 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 top. We see, halfway to the bottom, bottom right here, bottom, bottom, yeah, almost bottom, and this is very nice right here. It hit our wick, and again, this is on the 1-hour, so I think this happened today, and so it hit our wick right here, and I am in UGAS pretty heavy right now, because, like I said, I've been trading this for a while. We do still have to... Oh no, did I delete my channel? I did delete my channel. I like having these up just to give me the, the range that we have been trading in. So, what can we do next? Next, we can draw some support lines. Draw that right here. We can draw that right here as a less conservative if we want to make it match up with the current prices, but we're not going to do that. We're going to go down here. And I also see this going on. There is a lower high to keep in mind. And that's about it. I think that this is going to bounce from this point. I think 8% is probably a 2 standard deviation move for UGAS, and I think that's too much. And I mean, we fell from $21, $21.50, and down to about $19, $19.10 here. And I think that sets up a really good trading opportunity. Traders love volatility. Anyways, I'll be probably buying this again if it hits this trend line down here at 1890 tomorrow. I think it's got a lot of waterfall going on here. It's probably not just going to go up on a dime. It might do what it did over here and fall down a little bit more. But I will, like I said, buy up that dip. Let's zoom in a little bit more. 30-minute, same thing. 15-minute, getting a little bit more interesting. Something I might watch out for is something like that. Oops. I don't really like that. Sometimes I find that there's a continuation off of a shoulder here. So this downtrend line, sometimes that's significant. A lot of my charts just have a bunch of lines all over it, and I like that simply because I can go back and delete these the next day once this comes through. You can see that my RSI here is flashing green, oversold. Last time it was green, it was down here, and it gave a pretty good indication. But the real indication is if it gets over this 50 level here, and you stay in the trade as long as it stays above this 50 level usually. So this is good buy entry here. I'm in UGAZ, and that's my analysis for UGAZ. Next up, we've got Russia, the 3x bull ETF, marked by RUSL, Russell. And I recently started looking at this just because I thought I had good price action. What can we see right away from this? We can see we have a pretty textbook symmetrical triangle going on here. I don't know if it's a symmetrical triangle or a descending wedge, but we will find out sooner or later. Sorry, I'm a little bit ill right now. My throat isn't where it's at usually, but we will carry on. So let's see if I can come up with any lines here that I like. This seems pretty nice right there. Where does this match up well with? This matches up pretty well with that. Kind of like that line right there. Let's see if this does anything for me. Ooh, that does. I do like this alternate channel that's going on here. In fact, I like this channel a whole lot more than the first one I drew. So I think that this is the channel that we're working within. It's an upward channel, and obviously this kind of explains the price action here more as it bounces off this channel. Let's go ahead and mark some key pivot. First, actually, let's go ahead and look for further confirmation with our fib lines. Looks like we're right at the 61.8 level. Love that. I think that the 50 and the 61.8 are, as well as the 78.6, but these are the ones that I like trading in the most, especially the 50. You'll notice these gray lines above are correlated with the Fibonacci extension lines for the 50 level. I just kind of plugged them in so that they automatically show up. So in case you were wondering what that was, that's what that is. So now that we have this, let's go ahead and continue to draw this. I think this might actually start from up here. This might be our superior line here. But what I'm seeing is a tighter range like this. I think this is a pretty nice symmetrical triangle. Perhaps not the best. Let's see. Yeah. Let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, so I see a symmetrical triangle. I have a small position in RUSL, and I'm hoping to see further upside pretty soon here. I'm bullish at this moment on RUSL. Given the upwards channel, the Fibonacci supporting the price, and this price pattern that's actually playing out. So first test is going to be breakout above here. Second test is going to break out above here. And then I think that we can see some strong continuation to the upside. Let's see here. Is there anything else I want to do with this. Okay, how about this one? I think we can, where do we want to start this? A, B, C, D. Oh, this is perfect. A, B, C, D, E. This is really perfect. So this is typically what you want to see out of a symmetrical triangle, is this 5-wave pattern and it breaking out. So this is what we're going to be looking for in the coming days. Alright, let's move on to our fifth, which is Teckle. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this simply because it is in a strong uptrend. I'd highly recommend buying this at any point. I think technology is going to continue to go up for many years to come. I think it's the future, basically, of innovation and business earnings, I guess. We recently had a large drop here, and I caught as much of this as I possibly could. I sold out previously way too early. I think I bought here, and I think I sold it about right here. And just to be conservative with my profits, it was a $5 gain, and I just took profits right away, and I should have just let it run. I lost faith in it one day and just got weak hands. But on the 2-hour, it's kind of a nasty drop though, because it is so steep and so sudden. It was kind of like a flash crash last Wednesday, but it has since mostly recovered, and I really like seeing that. So if we are going to draw some trend lines, I think we could do something like, yeah. And we can see that Teckle technology 3 times ETF is definitely flagging right here. I love this stock. I'm probably going to be a permable on it. Just for many fundamental reasons. We can draw a second little channel in here simply because of how smooth the price seems to move. Touch this, and if we want to get back to Elliott wave theory, we've got our 1, 2, 3, probable 4 over here tomorrow, and then I think we're probably going to have a 5 up there. So that'll be the trading plan for the next week for Teckle. And moving on to SPXL, see the 3 times S&P 500 index. S&P has been doing some interesting things lately. I think it's double topping here in a way, but many people have failed trying to call the top, and I'm not going to try and be the first one. Let's go into this chunk right here. So let's try this again. Let's get this bottom. And that seems to hit pretty well. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 touches up here, and we've got 1, 2 touches down here. So we can see that the market is doing pretty well right now. We might, hit a triple top. We can maybe mark this as our triple top right here. It's really struggled to break out there, and have one day above that line. I think the 3-day rule applies whenever you're trying to break out. If it can hold that for 3 days, then it's a confirmed breakout. Otherwise, you risk the chance of falling back into that zone. We do see a large amount of sell volume here. Let's zoom in a little bit more to the 1 hour. Some might say that this is flagging right now, but some might have said that this is flagging and that this is flagging. Basically what I want to say is be wary with your investments right now, because I think that we are extremely high. Let's go out to the weekly. See if we can, I'm having no luck finding this at the bottoms. Let's just try and go from the tops. Tops, a stock you should never own. Man, there's some weird formations going on here. Yeah, so if we're going off this weekly channel right here, this guy, we see that we're pretty much right at the top of this channel right here. I think that we are due to come back, you know, right around this level. We don't have to drop. We could just move sideways for several weeks until we hit this. No, not the 1 minute. Is this bullish volume or bearish volume? What happened at the end of the day? I'm not sure. Either way, with the long-term channel, we're right at the top. And we're hitting our triple top right here. I'd be wary until we can break out of this zone and hold that level. And that's all I got for SPXL. Moving on to Labu. Labu, our biotech bull 3x ETF. What do we got here? Let's go to the daily real quick, and you can see some pretty nice upwards action going on here. Let's see if I can draw right away a longer term channel. Hopefully all my videos are not going to be this long, simply because this is the first time I'm doing the I deleted all of my previous comments and lines just so I could do this video first time. Alright, so I think that this is the large channel that we find ourselves in here on the daily. This covers basically the last 9 months worth of trading. Let's go into the 2 hour and see what we're doing in here. So we have a lower low here. This could be significant. Let's draw that line out to there. And let's see if this works out. It does pretty well. And let's go ahead and draw that out to there. Right now I can see that we have another symmetrical triangle taking place. Let's zoom in to get a better picture of it. It's not quite a symmetrical triangle, I wouldn't say. I don't know, is this one wick significant enough? I'd say no. Alright, so I'm going to try and encompass both of these wicks in here. And looks like we kind of got like a long-term wedge going on here. Not quite sure. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hasn't retraced all the way down, which is usually a good sign. If price only retraces about halfway to its support line before going back up, usually that's a good sign. What do we see in volume? Not seeing exactly a huge amount of volume. In fact, we're seeing a drop off in volume in the last several days of trading. Mark this volume trend. Sometimes descending volume is a good thing though. I'll be very interested if it breaks out above this this trend line right here. But for right now, I've got a feeling that it's going to probably go up another day or two and fall back down, and then it's going to get interesting in here, and we're going to see where it goes from there. Perhaps we can make the case to draw this and this, and there we have our symmetrical triangle. A, B, C, D, possible E right here, and then up. Maybe we should mark that down. So we got A, B, C, D, and we're going to see E right over here. It looks like it has potential to come right up to the apex of our symmetrical triangle. Alright, and that's all I've got for Labu. Let's go back to the 2 hour chart and see what we're looking at. Alright, and moving on to ZIV. ZIV is a beautiful vehicle. It is inverse the volatility, and in recent years, as you can see, volatility has been low. If you want to look at its inverse over time, this is why I love ZIV, is because exponentially it's bound to go up. as the contracts roll over. We have such a beautiful, uptrend going on here that who would want to ruin that? I don't think anyone would want to ruin that. Kind of like following those little guys more than anything else. And since we're in the present, let's go ahead and touch these guys instead of these guys. Oh, so we're in this extremely tight channel, and when this dumped down here on Wednesday, I went up and bought as many as I could. I think my average right now is $72, and I'll be holding on until this probably hits 83. Anyways, Ziv is kind of like Tekel in that it's just pretty self-explanatory, long-term, beautiful uptrend. We'll get more into it at a future date. All right, DRN, Daily Real Estate, 3 times ETF. What do we have going on here? DRN is one of those, again, that I find that the price moves are kind of, makes it challenging to do technical analysis on. So we're going to go into the 2-hour chart. And what can we see here? We can see some beautiful long uptrends. $19.50 to $24 down to $20. And right now it looks like we have broken out of this downtrend. I currently hold shares in DRN. I guess I'm bullish real estate in that sense. I'll be swinging this for probably another week or two, probably sell out right around here. So what's the channel that we're working with here? Well, you can see a double top going on here. And where do I want to bring this down to? I think that this is a pretty significant level. This would be the channel that I want to work with here. Again, this captures, probably the last 5 months, so it's not just some random channel. It is the last 5 months of price action, and I think that this is a nice sideways channel to try and, trade within. Let's go into the 1-hour chart. 1-hour chart, and again, when it gets like this, we're pretty early in this stage right now to be, drawing a new channel on this right here, but it forms really nice channels as well. Maybe something like that. DRN is kind of a slow mover, up 10 cents today. It's a slow mover, but it's a steady eddy. That's why I like it. That's why I've been playing it. Like I said, these long moves down, long moves up. When you get to the top of the channel, you switch over to its opposite, its inverse, and play the opposite. Let's go back to DRN for right now, and let's go into the 30-minute time frame, see if we can find any more interesting prices. We can start to identify this support zone. Looks like it recently had it tumbled down. Might pick up more shares here at 21.30 if it gets to that point. And let's mark some interesting pivot points potentially. Let's go back to the 2-hour before we get too microscopic in our time frame. Looks about right. And like I said, the 50 and the 61.8 are significant. So you can see that the 50 definitely is of significance to us, as I'll point out here in a second. It looks like the 78.6 is more significant for this ETF. However, let's just go by I and not Fibonacci for 1 second and mark some other pivot points that we see here. All right, go ahead and delete that. Yes, I see one more right up here. So looks like we're hitting this. This is the 50%. This is a big boy retracement level. You can see that we have a top, a consolidation zone, bottom, and now we're hitting a top in a consolidation zone again, hopefully. Let's go back down to the 15-minute Dow. I find that these lines change given the time frame, which is a bit strange. I'm going to delete this. I like to kind of keep a clean chart. And that's DRN. I think that's all I see for right now today. Like I said, I'm bullish DRN. Hopefully it can break above this. Let's move on to energy, ERCs. I'm currently in ERCs right now. I don't really like it. I'm about break even, if not losing right now, but this downtrend cannot continue forever. It's been in a downtrend for the better part of 3 or 4 months now. I didn't want to delete my channel simply because I had a nice channel within a channel here. So the larger one obviously captures more of the move, and the smaller one captures the majority of the move within that larger price range. And I bought in right here when it broke out above that, and I'll be looking to add a whole heck of a lot more if it breaks out of this larger channel. But this is on the daily. Let's go to the 2-hour. See if we can't find anything else interesting. I see something very interesting right here, right off the bat. And that is a Head and Shoulders. Very nice one. Very nice Head and Shoulders. And that's nice because it ends basically right where our channel ends. So, just for clarity's sake, let's make our background a little bit less sharp. Alright, save that. And yeah, like I said, we can see a left shoulder, head, and a right shoulder. I remember that was another reason I got into the trade. And I think that's all the analysis we need right now. I certainly hope energy starts making a move up. Energy marked by daily direction. Energy bull 3x shares ETF. Moving on to Soxel. Semiconductors are killing it. They've been killing it all year. I bought in on the Wednesday dump, thankfully, and it's been rewarding me pretty nicely, except for today. Let's see if I can indicate anything going on in here. Looks like it just got too overextended. However, we still are at the top of the price channel, and if we want to break out above, it looks like we'll find out here in the coming days. This could be potentially flagging. It could, on the lower time frames, also have a Head and Shoulders going on here. It'd be a really ugly Head and Shoulders, left, head, right. But we'll wait until that's validated. I don't think that's a legitimate Head and Shoulders right now. It looks a lot more like a bull flag to me. Soxel, like XIV and like Tekel, is just kind of one of those straight up, straight channel, buy it, hold it type of ETFs. And I love it for that because it's super volatile along the way. And last but not least, this is my 12th ETF on the radar, and it is JNUG. And it's everyone's favorite stock to hate. But you can really see what I mean here by the daily kind of warps the price action. In that, when it ran to 130 and then came back down to 15, recently had a split, so I think this was like $4. But, we can see that it really warps the price here on the different time frames. So we're going to go into the 2-hour and see if we can find any decent, price action. We actually had a huge dump in gold here today. I think it's simply just because the, Comey firing and the Trump impeachment whispers have kind of fizzled out. Also, it was a technical short for many different reasons. I had a really nice buy down here when it, came and I bought it, right around here. Actually, it wasn't a phenomenal buy, but I continued to average down kind of. I started getting real worried down here, but I held it, and I continued on holding it all the way up until here, until I saw this massive Head and Shoulders that was taking place. I'm going to zoom in to a closer time frame so you can see what I'm talking about here. We kind of have this, price stop here on the left shoulder and on the right shoulder at pretty equal levels. Let's go ahead and draw the Head and Shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and yep, we definitely broke out here. Broke out lower from this head and shoulders. And where it's going next, I really am not sure, simply because it fell 10% today, and that's a enormous fall. I'd say that's, again, in the category of a 2 standard deviation fall. I might be interested in taking a bite here at the 17s. I got stopped out up here when my RSI, it broke below this level, and then it continued to fall pretty quickly. I actually got out because my VWAP here broke below the 50. This is my earlier indicator, but I just kind of wanted to lock in profits from, down here. It was a nice $5 20% move for me over the course of 5 or 6 trading days. And that's all I've got here today, folks. Hopefully we'll be back tomorrow if I'm feeling better. Hope you enjoyed this. Leave any comments or questions for me. I'd love to answer them. And if you like this video, feel free to like and subscribe. Hopefully we'll be putting more videos out, like I said. Have a good night, and good luck tomorrow. Bye-bye.